18 years ago, I gave up on a childhood dream. 1 year ago, I decided to give it another go. And this experience has shifted how I see the world. Let me tell you why. Upon entering high school in the state of Washington, it was an obligation to choose a foreign language and study it for at least 2 years. During our last year of middle school, we even had a class called Introduction to Foreign Languages to help us choose between Spanish, French, German, even Latin for some reason, and Japanese. I fell in love with Japanese. It was just so different. I felt like I could unlock a language by doing a puzzle in my head. And yeah, I grew up in the 90s, the heyday of Nintendo, whose North American headquarters was just 45 minutes away. Anime was just taking off in America. And in Seattle, the same year I entered high school, there was a mini craze going on around Japanese culture as the Seattle Mariners had signed 2 Japanese players, Kazuhiro Sasaki and soon-to-be legend Ichiro Suzuki. So, upon entering high school, I told myself that I'd take Japanese all year, every year, even if only 2 years were required. I was just that excited. And I did just that. Every new year was another opportunity to learn more from Kuniko-sensei. Every year, I continued to fall more and more in love with this language, until I didn't. The thing that I would come to realize later about learning languages is that you need someone to speak to. Even if I could speak with my classmates, my teacher, or the occasional bored-as-hell Japanese exchange student that was for some reason in our Japanese class, I could never find anyone else to talk to. So, eventually I just stopped. What a waste, right? Well, fast forward a couple of years where, in college, I decided to take French. And boy, did I. Almost enough to minor in French language. I'm not sure why I made the change. Maybe it was cinema, or food, or the short hitchhiking adventure I had in France. Maybe it was a combination of all those things. But one thing is for sure. Without that change, I wouldn't have fallen in love with the country. I wouldn't have studied abroad in Paris. I wouldn't have met my wife, and I wouldn't be moving to Nantes. I also wouldn't have excelled at French had I not spent so much time with Japanese. And well, I did so well that by my second year speaking French, I had forgotten Japanese altogether. Or so I thought. As adults, we're expected to continuously move forward. Make a decision, stick with the decision. Let go of the things that you loved in your youth. Recalibrate your focus toward whatever your society's metric of success is. Let dreams die. Why? I'll say I have never fully conformed to that idea, but I did conform to letting go of dreams from when I was younger. At best, I fell into the pattern of replacing them. A couple of years ago, my wife and I were indulging ourselves a bit, talking about the places that we've always dreamed of visiting. During this conversation, I mentioned that my sensei from high school had always promised us a trip to Japan. After all, the French class got to go to Paris, but unfortunately, that never materialized, and the trip has always remained on my wish list. So, last year, we did it. We went to Japan. I even made a video about it. I loved Japan. We loved Japan. My daughter still talks about it a year later. And during that trip, something odd started happening. I started remembering Japanese. I could order food at restaurants, have very basic small talk with people at the bus stop, tell museum staff the age of my daughter, even book all-you-can-drink karaoke. It was transformational. A feeling I don't even think I had the first time I lived in France. Somewhere lying dormant in my brain for nearly 2 decades was this ability to connect with people half a world away. Albeit at a preschool level, but it was still there, and I was left inspired. So when we came back home, I enrolled in a course at our local Japanese cultural center and started again from scratch. I later transitioned to one-on-one classes with a teacher in Osaka, and now I've been relearning Japanese for a year. So what did this teach me about failure? Well, any failure can be a success. And just because you don't hit a goal, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try again. Having a dream in your youth or carrying it into adulthood doesn't make it any less special. You should find joy in your life. You've only got one, and these dreams bring us joy. Quite simply, there's no such thing as failure. Hell, I was feeling so cocky that I took a Japanese proficiency test offered by the Japanese government back in December. Guess what? I didn't pass. Barely. But I've kept going. That has motivated me even more. And now, as I write this, I'm one day removed from walking away from my dream job, in the middle of 2 pieces of legislation that I poured years into. I didn't fully finish what I set out to do. Is that failure? Well, I'll talk about that in an upcoming video. But if I'm to predict the future, I'm gonna say no. Our supposed failures are what we make them. I'm choosing to look at goals or wishes unfulfilled and use those as motivation in my career, in my life, even with focusing more on bringing you more videos. Rekindling my childhood dream helped me realize nothing is ever unfinished. What dream do you want to revisit?